All right. Welcome back again to this setup analysis and what we are expecting for next week. Right. Um, okay. I will be discussing all what I will be expecting to happen in this space so that you can actually mark up your charts and actually expect the same thing. And at the end of the week, I will try as much as possible to also bring you the result and how this actually played out. All right, very quickly, the first thing we are going to look at, we are going to be checking the dollar index and we are going to expect and study together and see what we're going to see. All right, as you can see, this is in the monthly time frame. On a monthly time frame, we can see that this pair is bullish, right? We can actually see that this pair is actually bullish. I can't actually go more than this. This pair is bullish. Then on the monthly time frame, I mean on the weekly time frame, we can see that this pair has actually been creating a series of a bullish order flow. Is actually in the bullish order flow, and the market structure is also bullish because we can see a series of higher highs and higher low. Then what I will be expecting based on the pattern I actually have here, I will be expecting this market when the market open based on weekly range. I will be expecting like a stop on if that actually happens. I'll be expecting a stop on low to this particular area, this particular order block here. Then also I will be expecting the further push up, and this is as a result of this pair actually in a bullish order flow, right? In on daily time frame, as you can see, on daily time frame, this pair also has actually been creating a series of bullish as it's actually from the month from the weekly, right? From the daily, you can see this sign of bullish market structure. Then the market actually broke down in this area, then also break market structure again, right? I will be expecting this market to actually come to somewhere around this area, then find the rejection before it will continue to go higher. So DSY this week, all things being equal, if this zone actually holds, right, I will be expecting this pay to further push up. But if not, I will actually expect this particular zone. If this particular zone is actually broken, I will be expecting a retest. Then also, for it to push down. However, if the market open, then if the first thing I actually see is actually a first push up, then I know that for the rest of that week I will be selling this pair, right? So very quickly, let's go to uh, gold, right? Let's check gold. Let's see what we're actually expecting on gold. On in gold, well, just in the weekly time frame, right? I will actually start from the weekly time frame. What we can actually see on gold here, as you can see, this pair is actually in a clear bullish um, market structure is actually bullish, but in this particular area, we can actually see a break in the market structure. Then is actually retesting the bearish order block here. I mean, the bearish order block is retesting this. If you go to the daily time frame, this is actually very clear in the daily time frame. As you can see, it actually broke all the structure. Then it's actually coming back in this area. So what I will be expecting, what market open up is a stop on high. Then for me to look for the pattern to actually trade this pair down. So for this week, all things being equal, if this zone actually holds, provided this zone is not broken, if this zone actually holds, I will be expecting a push down in the in on gold market. As you can see, the market structure here is actually bearish. Then I will be expecting a push down here. Then another pair we're actually going to look at is a Euro USD. Let's check the weekly. On Euro USD in the weekly, we can see that this market is actually this particular pair is creating a bearish, right, a bearish order flow, right, and it's actually bearish market structure. But what do we have for the last 2 weeks that this market actually created a very bullish run, right? It came up and actually broke all these particular high, right? Took out all this liquidity, right? Then what happened? The market came back down and actually break market structure. And the reason why we actually very bold and confident on this pair is because the market structure and order flow is bearish on the weekly time frame, right? On the weekly time frame, then we will check um the daily also, we can actually see this sign of bearish market, right? It broke all this structure, then market came up and took out all this liquidity that are actually above this area. It took out all these liquidities. Then what happened? It break market structure. Then actually market traded back into this other block here. We have the breaker here, then the others, this other block here. So what we're actually expecting on this pair is when the market open, right? When the market open, I'm actually expecting something like this when the market open. I'm trying to mark this down using the top down analysis that I'm actually expecting when the market open. Uh, there's actually, you can see, start from the weekly. Then I'll be expecting something like this to happen. Market should give me a bearish, all right, a bearish sign, which is actually a weekly manipulation to the upside. Then I'll actually be expecting this pair to trade down from there. All right. So that is what I'll be expecting on this pair when the market open. Right. Right. Quite all right on the 1 hour time frame. We can actually see that it's creating a bearish. All right, a bearish market. However, when the weekly is bearish, so there is nothing that actually dictates that on the lower time frame, it cannot actually be bullish. So I actually, according to LPC rules, we call something buy to sell, right? So the market will actually trade up and actually give you a sign for it to sell. So when that actually happen, you will be expecting this market to go down, right? So, however, if this market actually open, then we have probably a stop on low and actually get rejected at this particular order block, right? We can actually expect something like this to happen, then this zone to be broken. Also, we expect something like this, then this market should go higher. However, well, my best prediction on this pair is actually the bearish because of the institutional order flow and the market structure that we have on a lower time frame. All right. That said, we are actually going to check GBPUSD also. We start from the weekly. On the weekly time frame, we can see that this pair um, is also in a bearish order flow, right? And a bearish market structure. As you can see, the market is creating a series of higher highs. I mean, lower high, a lower low, a lower high, lower low. Then it actually created a higher high here. Then also lower low, right? Lower high, lower low. Then this particular one actually came and took out all this liquidity, then came back down and actually break market structure. And based on our pattern, this is actually the best thing we actually look out for market to actually go down more. And when this actually happens, the market will come here and actually respect this breaker here or this particular order block that took out all these liquidities in this area. So if we actually expect this market to come down, come up to this area and actually take out, respect this particular order block and actually trade down. And this is actually what I'm expecting on this pair to actually happen. So the market can open. If the market open and give us a manipulation to the upside, then before they push down, then I will be expecting this market to actually sell. Then on the daily time frame, as you can see, most especially this zone, we're actually going to see expecting this market to respect from is this area, right? This market can actually come to this area and under respect. However, there is actually a king order block here. This is actually what I call the trapped OB. And this particular area, because this particular zone that I marked, if you check a lower time frame, there is actually a strong order block there. If you actually check it for you will see that there is actually a lower high in this particular area that I've marked. So when the market open, we can actually expect a fake out whereby this particular I will be rated, then market actually rejecting at this particular area. Let me try to predict that. Like the market can actually get rejection from here and go down. But however, the best deal is actually for market to take liquidity before the market will actually continue to go higher, and that might actually make this market to come and actually break this particular liquidity here. We might actually see something like this. Then market break market structure. Then we see a retest. Then we continue to go lower. So probably that's actually what we're going to expect on this pair. And more of the reason why I'm so confident on that bearish moves was because of the buy to sell, right? Buy to sell movement, and this pair is actually in a clear bearish order flow, as we can see in this area. However, if this zone is actually broken on a weekly time frame, we might likely see this pair going more higher from there, right? So the next pair we're actually going to look at is USDCHF, right? On USDCHF on the weekly time frame, this pair is actually creating. We have higher high here, the higher low. We have another higher high. We have higher low that actually break the structure. Then this pair did what? It actually created a lower high, right? A lower high, a lower low, then a lower high, a lower low, then actually break market structure. And before this actually happened, this particular candles actually took out liquidity, so and actually break market structure. And based on DXY, what we actually talk about DXY, that's actually dollar index. We might likely see this pair actually pushing up. And we're checking because we already have a breaking market structure here. Checking this pair, and more of this is actually a consolidation that is actually happening. All right, and what I will be expecting on this pair is actually a retest of this order block or this particular order block, then we might likely see some push up from there, right? Probably this particular order block. Let me try to mark that zone, right? This particular one here, right? Right, this particular order block here. So we might likely see a push up, right, from this particular area, right? Do something like this, then we might likely see it going higher. So mostly that's actually what I'm expecting on this pay. And I actually predicted this pay last week to actually sell down, and this is actually what happened. And we might likely see this push up if dollar index is actually respected. And this doesn't mean that all this will actually correlate with dollar index so much well, but most of the time it will always respect that. And very quickly, let's look at EURJPY. EURJPY is also in a very clear um, bearish order flow, bearish market structure is actually forming. Then, as you can see, it is actually a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Lower low, then the lower high. Then, in this lower high, we are actually having a series of before that actually happened in before this lower high was actually formed, we have a series of higher high, right? Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. But this is actually what is creating a lower high on the weekly time frame, like this lower high. Then the market came down to this area, broke this market structure. So we're expecting it to actually retest this particular area before dropping. So this particular pair, I will be expecting it to actually drop, right? If you actually check the daily time frame, right, this is actually a very rough one. I actually don't like trading something like this because it's not so clear. But however, I can actually see these equal highs there. I can actually see these equal highs. I can see liquidity taking, right, then breaking market structure. So I'm actually expecting this market to break, to take out this liquidity that is here and actually retest in this particular order block here, then actually drop. And mostly that's actually what I will be expecting on this pair. And lastly, I will let's look at CADJPY. On CADJPY on the monthly time frame, also this is actually bearish, right? On the monthly time frame, this is bearish. Then we should actually expect. So far, this liquidity was actually taken, right? We can see that all these like about 4 years lows was rated, right? Can you see this? About 4 years lows was rated, and when this actually happened, we expect some kind of push up from there before we actually see a sign of reversal from this pair. But overall, of this pair is actually bearish, right? The overall is bearish. Then I will be expecting this pair based on what daily is actually going to tell us to trade. Is actually going to respect this order block, right? Respect this order block, this particular order block here, right? Want that to be respected, and if that actually happens, we might likely see something like this uh, to retest this area, then before we continue to come down again, right? So I want this particular liquidity zone to be taken, and this particular eyes also to be rated, then reject at this particular area before dropping. However, that is actually not a 100% predictions that that's actually what will happen. The market might open because this pair is also in a clear bearish order flow. the market might open and actually break this order block. And when this zone is actually broken, I'll be expecting a retest of this pair, then actually for me to sell this pair down. So most likely that's actually what might likely happen. All right, thank you very much. And this is a liquidity provider concept, and I'm Ola Timothy. Then make sure you study this and subscribe to this YouTube channel, like it, comment. Then also you can join our Telegram channel where all necessary educational materials are actually provided. Then with that, you can be able to trade alongside with us. You learn about the entries and how you can actually trade alongside with us. Right? Till when we meet again, ensure you actually practice this, market on your zone, and actually expect price to actually respect that zone. All right, I will see you again in the next video. Thank you.